Well, no, I have it pulled up because I want to thank.
Hey, how about you read your comment?
How about you put that finger away, partner? Welcome, disciples, to another episode of Volume 1, the anime and manga podcast, my children, where we review the first volume of a brand new manga each week. My name is Yahweh Michaels. God bless. And today I am joined by
Megan Heavenly Purine.
My child.
Top that.
Yeah.
Cody H. Decker.
You need to repent. Yeah. You need to repent.
And I'm Volume 1-chan. I just got back from achieving Nirvana, and now I have the power of God and anime on my side.
Volume 1-chan's been gone for a long time, and I think people were a little upset.
Yeah.
I do want to apologize to everybody. By the way, we're reviewing Volume 1 of Saint Young Men, hence my heavenly introduction. I'm very excited to talk about this series because it is we're going to step a little bit into the religious side of things, and it's going to get hot.
It's about to get holy up in here.
It's about to get holy up in here. I hope you got your holy water, and I hope you got your crackers.
I hope we're in the spirit
I like it.
for some religion.
I hope you're in the spirit.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh,
I like it
I
a
just
lot.
got it. Yeah.
I kind of just shouldn't have said it when you guys were talking.
You should have saved it.
Get your wine ready.
Yes.
And some fish and bread.
Sure.
And rice.
Yeah.
And mushrooms.
You know that
you can't tell, we're a little exhausted from doing our 1-year anniversary live show. And if you weren't there, parts of it might be released later this week on our YouTube channel, or maybe they won't be. It depends because we ran into some technical difficulties. And if you were there, thank you so much for being there and supporting us. And if you weren't, it's okay. We still love you. We still appreciate you. And we're going to try to do another better, bigger live stream in the future. But hopefully we're going to have our shit together next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we should probably get to reviewing this manga today. Saint Young Men, which I had heard nothing about until I did some research online. And it seemed to be a series that people were very excited about. It's a. Do you want to read the synopsis, Cody? Or I feel like you never read the synopsises ever. The synopses?
Well, I don't agree with reading the synopsis on the
I'll
back,
read it.
even if you.
The red seas.
You don't want to.
Well, just like you can't summarize what it's about.
Well, you can't read the synopsis?
A slice of life comedy involving Jesus Christ and a Buddha who live as roommates. And I wrote packs a punch because it's exactly that.
It's literally all it is. It's a series about Jesus and Buddha. They take a little vacation on Earth. They think that they've done their due diligence. Their job is done. They're taking a little break. They've worked hard. They're taking a vacation on Earth to enjoy
everything Japan has to offer.
Everything Japan has to offer. Now, had you guys heard anything about this series before I mentioned it to you guys? Yeah,
I had seen it in like Barnes and Noble and stuff, and further looking into the mangaka, which is Hikaru Nakamura.
Yeah.
She is awesome. I literally was reading this series and thinking to myself, oh my god, this reminds me so much of Arakawa Under the Bridge, which is one of my like all-time favorite comedies that like I haven't shown you guys that yet. It's very similar to like Sakamoto-esque humor, Psyche K, just like ridiculous humor. I showed you guys both the clip of that before, but it's exactly that. It's hilarious, very funny, on-the-nose humor. Art is amazing, and she's actually married to Kamiya Hiroshi, which is the VA of Psyche K.
Oh shit!
Levi and many more. So he is the Japanese voice actor. They're married together.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. So she's like winning.
She's
she
super
gets,
winning.
like
yeah.
Levi. Like, are you kidding me? Like, imagine having the voice actor of Levi.
They do it. You know they do it like that. They get down like that.
They have to.
Yeah. She's like a titan, and he's like...
Okay, no. Can't she be a regular girl?
Yes, you can be, but why not? And if you could be whatever you want to be in the bedroom, then why not be You're right, Cody.
But yeah. Obviously, that's amazing. But she's awesome, and she hits it out of the park every time.
This manga comes with a lot of high praise. I think it's a delicate. Yes, Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
like hi.
Oh, now, now I'm the one giving the wrap up fingers.
Now I'm the
And
one.
yet you're extending it still.
You're right. Did you hear anything about this manga before I told
No,
you about
you
it?
just showed me the cover and I was like, that seems amazing.
Do you still feel the same way now that you've read volume 1?
I didn't expect a slice of life. It's a fun little story. I didn't like it as much as I thought it was going to.
Mm.
You know
But
what?
it was a slice of life. So
Yeah. It's I think, more accurately put, it's a bromance, slice of life / situational comedy. It's taking Jesus, it's taking Buddha, and it's just putting them in funny situations. It's putting them at theme parks, at grocery stores, in weird situations with their landlord. It is funny, but I feel like you have to have such a pre-existing knowledge of Buddhism and Christianity and Japan
Exactly.
for a lot of the humor to land.
Well,
Yeah.
and every chapter ends with like 10 notes explaining to you. Well, that joke is a reference to this, which is a play on words of it, because they already have to do that normally. If there's
Yeah.
a pun, like that's a pun on this. Now this fruit, that is a religious symbol. So it is cool because you can learn what it's talking about because they'll explain it.
But that goes back to that saying, dissecting a joke is like dissecting a frog. You learn a lot, but the frog dies in the process.
I
That
disagree.
you're dissect. Do they dissect live frogs?
I'm sure somewhere they do, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
No, that's
They're
called
all
vivisection.
Speaking of Jesus,
Dead. Funny.
but I think that takes a lot of the humor out of it. I'm not saying it's not funny. It's very funny and it's very smart too. But a lot of the humor has to be explained. And are you saying that you were still able to enjoy that humor once it was explained to you? Cody?
Yeah, seems like it's a tongue-in-cheek type. Yeah,
Tongue in cheek. I totally agree. I mean, I literally wrote down like I did. It's very inside baseball. Some anime
Very.
and manga do that. When there's a lot of references to things that only if you lived in Japan all your life you would get. But some situation, it's not all that. So I've read series where it's just like too much, and I'm like, okay. I mean, this would be so much funnier if I was from Japan, but I'm not. This had a mix. It had a pretty good mix. It wasn't too much, and like Cody said, they do explain it at the end of the chapter, so you kind of get filled in, so you don't feel too left out.
Yeah, and because it's a manga, I already know most of the stuff about Jesus, so they'd be like, well, he's doing this, but yeah, when that's happening, like I don't need that explained. But then when it does the thing on Buddha being like, I don't like eating that, I'm like, why? And they're like, because I'm like, oh, and then I can like just go back and be like, oh, I see, and then like it doesn't remove my enjoyment. It just it's a different experience than just reading or watching a comedy.
Because I have a lot of knowledge about Jesus Christ and the Bible just because I was raised Christian all my life, and so was Josh. So we know.
No, watch
longer.
VeggieTales.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, VeggieTales is good.
Yeah,
They
VeggieTales
kind of
is-
just like
in my
sneak
memory,
that
it's
in
cool.
there.
Yeah.
No, they just sneak it in. It's like,
I'm afraid I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's
watch
about
it.
vegetables.
Were you gonna sing a song by Larry the Cucumber?
oh no,
Gotta
wasn't.
be VeggieTales.
Yeah.
VeggieTales. It's like sneaks up on you. You're like, oh
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm afraid I'm gonna rewatch it and it's gonna be terrible.
No, the cheeseburger song.
thinking-
Are you
I'm thinking
kidding
it
me?
I
It's
mean-
not a cheeseburger. It's not for you. Yeah, it's not for you. Oh, we got the cheeseburger.
Comment below if you remember VeggieTales. It's a classic. I was raised in the church. Obviously, I don't. I wouldn't call myself a Christian any longer. It's a very, to me, problematic sort of religion in a lot of ways. I'm not saying that.
Well, I think where I'm at is there's a separation of like religion and church. Like, I think most religions, whatever the church is, like that's not really what, especially with Christianity, it's like that's almost the opposite of what Christ stood for.
But what I do really like about this series, though, is that it never feels preachy. It's never trying to preach or teach Buddhism or Christianity.
Yeah.
And it never really feels sacrilege either. Like,
Yeah.
they do, I think, put Buddha and put Jesus in a lot of, unconventional sort of situations that you would never see them in or imagine seeing them in, which is where the comedy comes from. But it never feels like it's for shock value or like it feels like it's for,
It's
you're
all
not going to get
wholesome.
offended.
Yeah.
It's all wholesome
Yeah.
stuff, which is so cute to see them like in situations like acting like holy beings when they're like, I'm gonna do this and I'm
Yeah.
gonna do that, and it's really cute. And I literally like thought of that too, because there's like a whole thing with like, obviously, like, I don't know if you guys ever seen like Jesus Christ Superstar or like Black Jesus that was on Adult Swim.
I did see Black Jesus. Yeah.
Yeah, and people are like, that's fucking crazy. Like, this is sacrilegious. And I literally, the first comment on my anime list, someone commented, or no, I think it was on my anime list. I'm a Christian. Is this okay? And then the next comment says, should be fine. Not promoting or encouraging Satanism, nor disgracing Christianity. The Bible also says it's not sinful to read/write fiction. Just don't take it too seriously.
Yeah, I mean,
so
what do you
there's
think
people.
Yeah. What do you think the Bible is?
There's that was good. That was really
got
good.
him.
But people
I
are
bet,
people are
man, what were
concerned.
you in high school? Were you the full on like evolution is?
I did go through I did
Yeah,
pivot
me
real
too.
hard one way out of anger and spite, but I'm more in the middle now.
I've pivoted to just being like, I don't believe in religion, but I think it's cool. I don't mean that ironically.
No, I do.
You wanna
I
know?
I
get what you're
like
saying.
the stories and the characters, and I think those are like interesting, important stories to tell.
Yeah, look, I don't know how deep we want to go, but like I have no problem with religion now. I do think out of a rebellious sort of spirit and out of spite and out of just stubbornness and being a young person, I was just at one time I was young.
You?
Yeah.
Whoa.
I think I really just like hated religion in general, maybe more specifically Christianity, but now I'm at a place where I as long as you're not hurting anybody else and you're being a good person, then do whatever you want to do, believe in whatever you want to believe in. And I know that like for some people they need that, just like I need whatever I need. Anime is my religion.
Well, yeah, and there's always the thing about religion, like Christianity is like for homophobic or whatever. But the thing was, but Jesus never said anything against that. Like that's all in the church. Like a lot of the negative stuff comes from the church. Like the religion, the teachings itself. It's like, and even the food restrictions, you can see like that. Like don't eat pork. It's like, and then you have doctors now being like, that's bad for your heart. Like a lot of it's just sound advice.
Well, you can, and that's the thing about
pork's bad for your heart.
it. Oh, yeah, it's delicious though. You can
It's very bad for your heart.
say whatever you want to say about the Bible. I mean, you can kind of pull whatever meaning you want to pull from it. I think that's the problem. Like there are, verses that say things about man laying with another man or whatever. But like, it's been written and translated so many different times, and it was so long ago. I just don't think it's something that people need to be taking so literally. And then when they want to, they do. And when it contradicts their beliefs, then they say like, oh, not everything can be taken literally.
Yeah, even the
It's
man
complicated.
lying with man thing. I've seen like translators being, I've studied this for years, and it's referring to man should never lay with boy.
And that's another thing. You know what I mean? Like someone told me,
Which is very good.
which also don't
You
do.
should-
Which is-
yeah,
which-
it should be not
Which
said.
the church,
it's-
definitely
need to be
didn't.
said.
Yeah, it
It's a
doesn't need to be
given.
said. It's
Yeah.
a given. Don't do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of don't steal, don't lay with boys.
Yeah. Don't look at your neighbor's wife or whatever. That's like a 10 commandment or something like that.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a lot of it's just like don't be a dick.
Don't watch anime.
If that was in the,
don't watch anime, and then
I'm a sinner.
that was in my dad's Bible, I'll tell you that.
Oh.
But I I also just, and look, you could go back. I also heard that there were some books of the Bible, the Dead Sea Scrolls, all this stuff. It's just like, you can glean whatever you want to glean from it. You can put your own meaning on it. Like, that's why, like, whatever people believe in is fine as long as you're not hurting or discriminating or excluding anybody. You know what I mean? Just love everybody, treat everybody like you want to be treated, and
friggin' Joshua Christ over here.
Yeah, like
Yeah. I get an acoustic guitar. in my hands.
Josh, love everyone. Buddha.
Oh, she's back. She's back. I gotta give you one. Hey, guess what? My hands are a little sweaty right now.
Yours weren't as sweaty as mine.
I think both of our sweat just kind of just like.
Yeah, it's pretty gross. Look at
No.
my rings turn my fingers
Oh,
colors.
like little skin rings.
Skin rings?
I mean mood rings, but on your skin.
Yeah,
Put
that
on
was
your
weird that you said skin rings.
Skin rings? Oh.
It was like it was translating in my head, but you got that's the risk of being sharp and quick witted. Is sometimes you're just not This was
on it.
yeah. This was fun. I mean, like it does a lot of like references to real things, and then they'll clearly do like a bit about that thing where you can be like, that's a joke. It's not like they're being like, and that's really what happened.
Yeah,
it's like
Yeah.
fun.
I had a good time.
Jokes on these characters.
It was cute.
I should say that there's two animated movies, and there's also
There's one.
There's an animated movie and a live action movie.
Yeah.
And the live action movie I did not watch, but me and Megan did watch the animated movie. And I will say that they did a really good job sort of showing the art style and translating that art style into a very faithful adaptation. Like a lot of times, you know, in a lot of these anime that we've talked about recently, specifically, they'll change the art style slightly for whatever reason. But this is a very faithful representation of the original art in the line work, in every way. Sometimes it looks like panels just colored.
Yeah, it's
And,
really good, and in the things that they don't touch on necessarily that aren't in the movie are little Easter eggs throughout the movie. Like at one point, you know, the point with the pottery, with the whole thing. They don't do that in the movie, but they show when he opens the closet that they have the kit in the closet. So it's little Easter eggs for people who read the manga, which I liked without completely just being like, oh, that never happened. It's as easy as that when people would recognize that. So I thought that was really a cool little touch.
You gotta watch it with someone who didn't read the manga, and then you could be like, no, that's
Yeah.
they did a pottery scene.
Yeah.
You can be a real manga reader about it.
Yeah.
Be that guy. But
Oh, they left out that scene.
Let
me tell you a tale of an age unedited.
Yeah, you just laughed the way you laughed, and then the person goes, I'm gonna be the person who hasn't read the manga, and then you be the person who read the
A
manga.
lot of role playing.
Oh, they did. They left out the pottery scene.
What's so funny about pottery? I don't get it.
Wow, I don't actually remember. I kind of just skimmed the manga.
Oh yeah, that's the kind of manga reader. That's the kind of manga reader. I am.
Clay, guys. Let's get back to
boy.
the manga. I just thought of it right now.
I like. This seems like a cool thing to just show kids and stuff. Not in like it's a childish way, but this seems like a way of easing the idea of like religious themes, but like the positive parts.
Yeah.
And I never watched like the comedies. I read the Gospel According to Biff. Kind of a similar thing, like the style of humor, which is like referencing like the powers or miracles they can do, and then doing like a joke on it, but then still having them like they don't then have Jesus be like a dick. Mm-hmm. They'll have Jesus be like this like good holy person. But then, like, maybe some shenanigans happen. But at no point do they go like, and he was, and also he would rob people.
Yeah, I actually, my experience with Buddhism is coincidentally only really reading. I wrote his name down so I don't butcher it, and I probably still will butcher it. But Osamu Tezuka, who created Astro Boy and Kimba the White Lion. It famously created a manga series based around Buddha, and this Buddha in Saint Young Man is reading that Buddha manga series, and so it gets a little meta for a second. And that's my experience with Buddhism. I remember in high school reading that manga series in its entirety and going to Buddhist temples. And I do. Am I wrong that like that a lot of people had like a Buddhist phase where they wanted to be Buddhist or learn more about?
I don't know, because it seems like the chillest one.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I know even Buddhists had like a sect that was like, we're gonna fight now, but that just shows like you can just say you're following whatever and then just do the exact opposite. It doesn't make you one of them. And then also, I like religious crossovers. Buddha is canon in Lovecraft mythology.
Really?
He's an elder god.
Anything else?
In the book, The Gospel According to Biff, they go into where he learned his teachings, and he goes to China to learn Buddhism.
Yeah, that's an interesting, and I think we brought it up briefly on this podcast before that book. But it's if you haven't read that book or heard of that book, it's very, very interesting. It's a, how would you describe it? Not a parody, but it's a retelling.
It is an affectionate comedy starring Jesus Christ. It's about his childhood, the parts that you don't see in the Bible.
But the author actually did a lot of research.
The
right?
author went to Nazareth, or the region that would have been it, and he explored like trade routes that got there, and like he figured where could you go within those missing like 20, 30 years. And there's a route that leads from there to China, to India, and and so like the book is about Jesus trying to learn from all the religions in that area to figure out how to best like serve man, essentially. And then his best friend Biff is he's the funny guy.
I mean, it does sound like a really good book.
Yeah, I mean, there's a really nice scene because Jesus is in doubt about like his place in the world, which I think is in the Bible, where he's like, I don't want to do the whole crucifixion.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to fucking die.
Yeah,
I just got here.
Spoiler for Christianity, but he dies at the
we
end.
forgot to do a spoiler alert for
Yeah.
the Bible.
Spoiler alert.
For the Bible, yeah.
There's
Not for
a-
Saint Young Man.
There's a nice scene where Biff is just like, you keep telling me that God is you can see him, hear him, but I can't. Where is this God? And then Jesus just like, there's a sunset at the beach, and he just like points his hand out, and and then Biff just goes, "Oh, shut up!"
Yeah.
And
Seems like a good representation of the comedy throughout the book, right?
yeah.
That joke.
And then also they invent coffee. And then Jesus starts casting all these miracles and healing all these people, and he's like, "You're healed, you're healed, you're healed, you're healed. Get me more coffee."
Yeah.
So it's not like insulting, but I know that and this manga, they both have concerns about how could you adapt it into heavily Christian areas where like you would have to give a disclaimer to everyone that like, if you just give it a chance, it's not offensive. It's a tribute to your religion. It's not an insult, parody, satire.
Yeah. Do you think you have family members that are Christian? Do you think that they could read this and not be offended?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it is very much religion to how fanatical you make it and how much you take seriously, because like you guys are saying, like there are like, if you follow the Bible, there are points where you're like, okay, this makes sense and this doesn't really make sense because like New Testament, Old Testament, this was before. Yeah, there's so many different factors, so I don't think this would be like an issue because it's not like,
Yeah, it's never preachy, and it's also like, I don't know, it's kind of taking Buddhism and Christianity and just, there's moments where Buddha and Jesus are just being kind and it's like leading by example almost. It's never citing biblical verses. It's referring to when they go to the amusement park, that period of time where Buddha meditated in the desert, I think, for a long period of time, and Jesus makes the joke like, but you can't wait in this like hour and a half line to ride this roller coaster.
The only thing that I was like, oh, this might be a little bad, is like when Jesus like gets stressed out and he starts bleeding out of his fucking head because the thorn crown that he still wears.
Yeah,
I thought that was
the only part.
That's the only thing.
Why would he keep that on?
Yeah, why would he keep that on? That was like punishment.
Unless he didn't get that part, and he was like, yeah.
But
He's like, hell yeah. Oh fuck.
Hell yeah.
I mean,
yeah. There's a fun joke where Jesus he does like a blog. And then, and he's like, oh, my followers.
Yeah.
And like, there's even a part where they really, if they like just talk to people, they'll just naturally get like followers around them. Like, all right, we got to stop talking to these guys.
Yeah, there's things that they can't do because things will happen. Like they can't take their own money or something for gifts. And I like these little restrictions that are on them. Like no one can find out who they are, even though they both look like, the Jesus and Buddha. I love the opening scene where he's like giggling to himself. He's like, what? He's like, some high school girl said I look like Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's so fucking funny.
So that's where the fun part comes in, because the depictions of him, like that looks like a handsome like movie star.
Yeah.
So they do a joke on that. Like, I mean, to get offended at that would be, I mean, come on, man.
I mean, I definitely know people who would be offended by that, but also it's nothing to be offended about. And there is another funny joke about their age and how they're these eternal beings, and so they're trying to get like the senior price at the amusement park or whatever.
And they're frugal because they both grew up like minimal lifestyle, so they just don't have that much money anyway, and they're always like, oh, well, I'll just eat rice. And then it's like, oh.
Yeah.
I love the scene where they're at the pool, and she's like, "Oh no, I can't swim." And he's like, "I thought you got baptized." He's like, "Yeah, I couldn't go under the water." And John's like, "Do you want to go under?" He's like, "No, I can't." "Okay, do you want to just maybe put your head in the?" "No, I can't do that." "Okay, I'll just pour it on your head." And he's like, "Oh, that was just John. Like the new baptism ways just was John being nice to you." I thought that was fucking hilarious.
It is very wholesome. I worry though about people who are looking for a sort of laugh out loud experience, and I do think it's funny, and I do think it's wholesome, and I do think it's done and written very well, and the humor feels really smart too in a lot of ways, and it has a lot of layers, but I think a lot of it gets lost. And not that, like you said, it can't be funny once it's explained to you, but I do think there is something that you're missing by not initially.
I would recommend, if you think this is funny, obviously it's funny. I mean, it's not laugh out loud, but if you want laugh out loud shit, Arakawa Under the Bridge is this. This is way chill compared to that. It's like chaotic funny. Like that. It's so fucking funny. And it's smart, and it's on, and it's still like kind of chill. And this, even like the movie, like I explained to you, I was like, it's just chill.
Yeah.
Like it's just like you watch it and you're like, oh, this is funny and this is nice to watch. It's not too crazy. It's not too, oh my god, this is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, my laughter, and I don't like, this is not me making fun of the series, but my laughter was genuinely more like, I like that.
Yeah, it's a warm kind of humor.
Yeah.
Where you're like, this is nice. You'll get a joke. You're like, all right, they're doing this thing with what they can do, and then you're like, what did they do that? Oh, that's cute.
They're so cute.
They're really cute.
They're so cute. Their relationship is so cute.
Mm-hmm. They're really, really
cute.
Like,
Jesus' birthday.
Yes.
The whole Christmas. That shit was like so funny. And he's just trying to like plan ahead. And Jesus is like way more childish than him. And it's just how they play off each other is so amazing.
Yeah.
So cute.
They have a great relationship.
Yeah.
One of the reasons I like the gospel book and this one is it shows them both as like people, and I think that's important.
I think I agree.
Is like one of the main goals of that gospel book was to show that like Jesus would have been a teenager, and he would have been a young adult who wasn't sure of his place in this world, but he always like never looked down on people. Like to live like Jesus, you wouldn't have to cast miracles. You would just have to be like a chill dude.
Mm-hmm.
And then Buddha was like, there's no argument that these people existed. The only argument is like, is it true? Like their divinity? But like, if he was like, he's still real. So this was a chill dude either way.
Yeah. I love the way that they're depicted, and they both have very chill vibes. And again, like it's cute and it's wholesome. And I felt more sort of attached to them as characters when I watched the movie. Than when I read it.
Their voices are so
Their voices
good.
are
Perfect.
And again, not to keep going over the fact that the jokes are explained, but it's a laundry list of translation notes at the end of each chapter.
I liked that. I didn't think it was. When I saw the translation page after one chapter, like, cool. Like, what am I going to learn here? They're like, oh, this means that. This is a pun on that. I think I like, and that's what it is. That you can like learn about these religions. Very casually while you're just reading about these two guys like hanging out. You can learn that like, oh, Buddha did that. This is how he died. This is what this person believes.
If you're more like not knowing about religion at all, you could be like, this is just lore for the character. Like that's literally what it is at the end of every page.
I just caution people who are hearing things about the series that it's a very funny, very hysterical series. Like it is. No, I'm not shitting on it. It is, but you're also going to have to. You're gonna have to do the work. You're gonna have to do your homework.
Oh, Josh
at the
does
end of
not
every
like
chapter.
to do work.
Oh,
you know how I feel
you're
about
saying
homework.
You'll have to study to learn from these two teachers.
And I guess when you put it like that, we can all learn a lot from Jesus and Buddha.
If you really think about it, there's a lot to learn from Jesus and Buddha.
I guess, yeah. Yeah. But I did actually learn a lot. And I'm not saying that they're bad. I want anybody who is thinking of reading the series to just know what they're getting into.
Yeah.
I feel like that's just fair. That's fair.
It does. There's one of the fun jokes where the thing like Jesus' face like just shows up on like bread or like
Yeah.
on a towel, and then he's like, it showed up on my shirt again. I
Yeah.
can't get like the idea that he doesn't get to decide whether that happens or not.
And
Yeah.
I love the play on them being tourists too, because they
Yeah.
are, coming down to
Foreigners.
earth, from the heavens, and they are living in Japan, but they are touristy. They wear touristy graphic tees. They're foreigners. People know they're not from around here, and it's done really well. It's done extremely well.
Yeah, I love. Do you believe in God? He goes, "Oh yes, I do." And he's like, "No, you don't." And then
Yeah.
he's like, "I believe in you." He's like, "That was the nicest thing ever."
Well, I mean, there's the moment too, and these are like all just pieces of moments, because obviously you want to read
there's a
the
lot.
stories. Yeah, it's one of those situational, like I said, comedies where each chapter is its own self-contained story, like a lot of other series that we've talked about. But there's a moment in the sauna when Buddha sees that one of the other people in the sauna has a Buddha tattoo. Did you guys?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And all of these moments, I think, you get a really warm feeling after each chapter. It's just like a very moment. And that's not me shitting on it. That's I think a testament to how well the mangaka, how good of a writer they are.
Yeah, and also the art. I really like the art. Like, she is really good at doing facial expressions, and that's like most of the landed comedy too. Like, a lot of these expressions are really, really funny. Like, I love the shock sometimes when like Jesus and Buddha, like Jesus will say something, and he's just like, and there's like the blank stares. Like, those, I find those so funny, and she does them very well.
Yeah.
I think my favorite one was when they go to the carnival.
I think, was that in the first 2 or 3 chapters?
Yeah, and then they're trying to win a DS Lite.
Oh no, that's a different one, but that one was really good too.
And then
Yeah.
it ends. That was like where it was like, that wasn't like here's like a pun on these. It was just this like classic like comedy ending to that scenario where
Yeah.
they got ripped off by a carny.
Yeah.
And in the movie, they like expand more on these like group of kids that always try to get Buddha. Like, they're always trying to hit that dot in his head, and they do that more in the movie than in the manga. I don't think it's shown here. But that's also, it's like, it's in the movie, it's these kids trying to follow him around, and they're like, "We got the target, we got the target,"
Yeah.
and he's like keeps moving around, and they're trying to hit him, and it's so funny.
The rubber band.
Yeah, yeah.
scene. Oh my god.
Yeah, they don't
man.
do that at all. They just kind of mention it, and then it's not really shown because it's more of like the DS Lite. But it's honestly super hilarious,
It is very funny. It is very funny. I do think
heartfelt, funny.
It is heartfelt, and it's impressive. It's impressive to deal with such a sensitive subject matter so eloquently, I think, and so delicately. But also, she's pushing the boundaries of Christianity and Buddhism, but she's walking that line very, very in a very perfect way, I think.
Because it's one of those things where like one of the like every religion basically has one way of saying, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And then what I learned from the Lamb book, because Jesus learns about the divine spark that we all have that Buddhism teaches. That's like when you become a part of him, like your light returns to the grand thing. So like the parallel there is like Jesus is like a part of God, and then the whole thing is he believes everyone is too. And then they're like, well, people won't understand that. So he's like, okay, how about Holy Ghost? And so that's how he basically teaches Buddhism to people.
Yeah, I mean there are. Go ahead.
No, yeah, it's just I don't know. I'm done.
No, I think that there are obviously other series that that deal with specifically Christianity in a far more offensive way.
South Park.
South Park. There's a comic book series called Preacher that I think in my rebellious stage I loved because it kind of just shit all over Christianity in a way because they wanted to keep the blood of Christ pure, and so by doing that they just sort of inbred Jesus throughout the years, and so the preacher Jesse Custer got to meet the Messiah in our current times,
But he was all.
but he
fucked
was
up.
a little slow. Yeah, and
Yeah, that's one of. Can you dilute the essence of God? I mean,
Oh, my favorite scene in a movie ever was The Nun. I don't know if you guys checked out that little flick.
horror movie. You never saw it.
Horror movie.
quick note. That's what always bugs me about like religious horror things. Whenever it's like a demon, I'm like, wait. So doesn't that mean that like in this universe Jesus and God exist? So shouldn't holy powers exist if demons exist? So shouldn't, because every time it's like, oh, there's a demon. Like, just go to a church. What, doesn't that mean that their powers get countered?
Yeah, the only way to save everyone from this demon is to get the blood of Jesus Christ. And they have a vial of the
Going to
blood
Bevmo.
of Jesus Christ. And I thought that was just the funniest thing in the world. Like, this one church just had a vial of the blood of... Who got that? Who was, like, on him, like, can I just get a little sample?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean...
Hilarious. It was just a really funny moment. I
And
thought it was hilarious.
I mean,
It's just confusing, I guess.
it was just very outlandish.
Yeah.
It's like the only way to kill this mediocre, low-level demon compared to like, it just didn't make any sense.
Yeah, I always figured like, you know, like in paranormal activity like that, I always imagine you would just like get a spray bottle with holy water and you just spritz yourself and then be like, what are you going to do? You going to...
I don't...
Yeah, I don't know. It
There's-
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, there's so many rules and so many like Lucifer. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Lucifer. This idea that, and you know, whatever. It's not a terrible show. It has its moments.
What if Satan was hot?
What if Satan was hot, and what if he was like, you know, he had his own nightclub, and
And it's called Club Satan.
it's called like Club 666
Club
or something.
Beelzebub.
Sex.
Oh shit! And they do have a lot of orgies in there. for real.
Beelzebub.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
And he like, you know, he plays piano and he drinks, you know, and he's British, of course.
Well, of course.
Of course.
I mean, I like the Paradise Lost story. That's like I feel like Tron Legacy. That's an.
Okay. Where
I think that is the
Tron
closest a live action adaptation of Paradise Lost you'll get.
Huh. Does it have anything to do with Christianity or Buddhism?
I'm lost right now.
religion?
I'm lost.
I'm lost.
if
and
you
it does not
watch
feel like
it,
paradise.
yeah, there's a lot where he goes to that new world, creates life, and then his only son comes down to help them. It's very heavily symbolic.
Like
and then
Narnia.
yeah, like Narnia.
Narnia is.
Narnia is based on Christianity too, I believe.
Yeah.
Look, there's a lot of
Aslan.
Aslan is supposed to be God.
Yeah.
Right? There's a lot of media that tries to depict or put their own twist or own spin on Christianity, but it always tends to be in a. I've never seen something this wholesome and sweet.
There is a video game, or based on a board game called Warhammer 40K, and the idea is it's a fantasy world, but like in the year 40,000, it's taking all that traditional stuff and like what would happen if they got over just having castles.
Mm-hmm.
And in that one, they have like a Jesus savior who like he ruled mankind, and his son betrays him, and then they just like leech off his blood and like they drain him.
Okay.
And it's always like, yeah, it's like Jesus never gets a break in fiction.
Yeah.
It always got to be about his death, never really about his life, which is why I think stories like this are fun and cool, because I think, you know, it sort of got turned into how he died versus what he died for.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's a really good way to say it. I think, I don't know. I think if you are somebody who, because it reminds me for whatever reason of, I know
Wow.
we keep going on tangents of other things that are affiliated with
This is
religion.
a slice of life, so we can either tell you every single joke or give us what we feel about this.
Yeah, no, exactly. But I think it's fun. I think it's cool, and I think if you're a religious person or have a religious family member, I think they might get a kick out of it. Is all I'm saying. Like, I watched this video of this like super Christian son playing his super Christian mom, like Kanye's last album that was all Christian music or whatever, and I just got to see them bond over something because I know what it feels like to have a parent that only wants to consume things that are like affiliated with Christianity. So like the fact that he could share something from his world with them, with his parent, it was like a very sweet moment to me. And so like part of me, you know, wants to be like, you know, hey mom, check out this manga, and you know, you might like it.
No.
But I don't think she's gonna like the
Yeah,
book.
you
No,
forced her
don't.
to watch
Yeah.
The Promised Neverland.
I did force her to watch it.
She was
yeah.
like, "What are these devils?"
oh
My
yeah, I
son
forgot
is
they
a
were.
weeb.
Yeah.
You forgot they were demons.
I forgot about the demon.
You forgot the whole plot of the show is
No,
that they're
I forgot
feeding
that-
children
no.
to
Spoiler
demons.
for the premise of an anime.
Oh yeah.
No, I
oh fuck. Oh fuck.
I forgot that demons are also like in the Bible. That's what I forgot.
Oh yeah,
But
they're a big point.
Yeah.
They're twisted angels.
Yeah.
which is the name of my new band.
Welcome to the stage, Twisted Angel.
It's a great name, actually. So do you guys think that this is something that you can enjoy or recommend to somebody who's not a religious person, or someone who has really no knowledge of like Japanese culture, Buddhist culture, Christian culture?
I mean, this is the trifecta of celebrating all three of these things, isn't it?
It is, and that's also why like it gets more and more specific, because there's another thing
Do you want to see Jesus Christ and Buddha enjoy the things that Japan has to offer?
Yeah.
And if they say no, like that desire has never come up to me, I'd be like, that makes sense, but it's a cool story.
Yeah.
I think indulging in the movie and also the volume, like the first volume, I think it's good enough for me.
So you don't think that
I would keep reading.
yeah.
No. I mean, it's really funny, and if they made another movie, I would be down to watch it because I really do enjoy watching it. It was very wholesome and made me feel happy.
Yeah,
But,
look, the movie's great.
Yeah, I mean, the first volume's great, but I'm just saying I enjoyed watching it more than I enjoyed reading it, or I may not read anymore.
Yeah. This was I was on a real gospel of Biff kick, and I was what I do
Real.
when I get home is I just tell my roommates about whatever audiobook I'm on, and
Oh, they must love that.
they hate
I'm
it.
sure they love it.
They hate it. I gotta talk to someone though, and I was like, because in my head, I like to think like if they were gonna do a live action like series for this, what would they have to cut out? What would they have to add? In my head, the song that would play for a thing about Jesus would be "Sorrow" by Bad Religion. They didn't hear of that band, and that
They've never heard of Bad Religion.
They're young.
How young are they?
They're like younger than you, maybe.
How
I don't,
young are
I don't
they?
ask anyone.
They're 14
You
and
live
15.
with them.
I live with 14-year-olds.
Okay, don't say that.
No, I don't. They never heard like if I told you like, oh, this song called "Sorrow" by Bad Religion reminds me of Jesus Christ, you'd think it was like anti.
Right.
But it's sort of about Jesus lamenting that people can't find the goodness in their hearts,
Yeah.
and as soon as they do that, there'll be no more sorrow, and like that's what Jesus's like greatest regret is, and
I mean, speaking of live action, though, I don't know if you saw the trailer or any parts of the live action movie based on this series, but to me,
No.
not that I ever
Hard pass.
Yeah, hard pass.
Hard
Not that I
pass.
ever am really super excited about live action adaptations of any anime or manga series, but this
This would be
specifically,
Eh,
it
the
was not
makeup
good.
looks
wasn't?
janky.
It was
the
weird.
makeup looks janky.
Aw.
It did not look good at all.
Yeah, it did not look good, and
It was
took
accurate,
away-
maybe like the set, but not the actors were no.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the live action trailer for Way of the House Husband was fine. It was, I think, a better version of a live action anime adaptation, but this just felt like it takes away some of the wholesomeness. It makes it feel a little, I don't know, it takes away a little bit of the quality. I don't know, it cheapened it a little
Yeah,
bit. And
totally.
I didn't like it. So I definitely would not recommend watching the live action adaptation of this.
I don't even know where you can. I think it's only on Blu-ray or it's coming out.
But I would highly
So-
recommend watching the movie based on this series, and I would say read it if all these things don't sound interesting to you, it doesn't mean it's not an interesting story. It really is, and you can learn a lot from it. I just expect to have a warm, sort of reaction to it, and maybe not a laugh out loud, gut wrenching reaction to it, which I think is what a lot of people will tell you. Like, it's hilarious, it's hysterical, and it is that. But when I think of those words, I think of like being on the floor holding my stomach, and I wasn't. I was under a blanket with a smirk on my face. That's
Okay.
the vibe.
this is a smirking manga.
This is a smirking manga.
I remember I when I was in college, maybe I didn't graduate, whatever. I took a lot of religious classes because I liked learning about them, and like I know like everyone was chill in that class until the teacher did this thing that was like we're gonna separate by our beliefs. So who believes in
What
God?
the fuck?
Who believes in this God, and then who atheist, agnostic. I was like, I'm agnostic, and then we went into a group of like 6 people, and then all the religious people were like on another side, and this class was super chill until this moment, and we all like quietly we all eventually I was like, I'm not agnostic, I'm an atheist, but I didn't want to say that, and everyone's like, me too,
Yeah.
and then it was like, okay, what are your thoughts on religion? And the religious side, they all united. You know, it wasn't the same religion, but they all united, and it got extremely hostile.
Wow.
Because they were like, how can you not? And I was just like, I genuinely wish I did.
Into a debate class.
And and people were like just furious, and it was like everyone was just talking about whatever up until that moment, but it was like hostile for like the rest of that semester.
Yeah, that sounds like a terrible idea.
I was it was like, what did you think was gonna happen?
Yeah,
this is how
war
started.
How he wanted
That's how war
exactly
started.
what he wanted to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's like a social experiment to see how like
I guess
people can get over the fact that like they don't agree who the same God is.
Yeah.
They will unite over hating who doesn't.
I mean, people will go to war over whether the Last Jedi is canon or something. You know what I mean? So like,
Stupid.
Well, that's right. That's fair though.
Actually, Star Wars has a lot of religious factors too.
I mean,
Does it?
doesn't everything though?
Jedi are a religious group in that world.
The apostles.
Yeah. I mean, everything though. Everything.
Yeah.
Well,
has,
that's because it's either way. It's a cool story, so there's a lot of stuff to take away from it.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't. It's not something that I'm gonna go out of my way to recommend to somebody, but that doesn't mean it's not good. I just like, I don't know. I think I have to really see a reason to recommend this to somebody. They have to have signaled to me that this is something they would enjoy. I can't pick someone off the side of the road and say like, hey, read this. I have to know a little bit about you.
Yeah, it would sort of be like, do you have any manga on you? Hey, do you want to read Saint Young Men? What's it about? Blah blah blah. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, and I think again, it's worthy of the praise it's gotten, and it's a series that I will at least reread, possibly, but not like you said, Megan. It's not something I see myself reading farther into, but that's fine to say. And it doesn't, again, mean that it's not good.
Yeah, it's really, really sweet.
Yeah, I mean, I like it.
I do too.
I would recommend it to read to people.
It's just so niche, I feel like.
Well, because I'm not really too focused. I'm not too focused on the fact that it's religious, if that makes sense. I see,
like them.
I see it's a slice of life first, starring Jesus Christ and Buddha. And I don't know who wouldn't be interested in that concept.
I mean, that's what definitely hooked me too. I mean, especially seeing the cover there in those graphic tees. I thought to myself, this has to be hilarious. There's no way this can't be funny. I have to read this. And I feel like the more I talk about it, it sounds like I don't like it, but I do. I really do. It was a different type of humor than I expected. Megan, do you have any final thoughts on this series?
Final thoughts already?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I wasn't too enthralled. I did enjoy my read. I thought it was really funny. The movie made me like it more and more. They're so cute and adorable, and the situations they're in are so wholesome. And it is a very chill slice of life. So, if you're looking for, I mean, it is easy to read regardless of the sprinkles of inside baseball, which are kind of a lot, but you do learn more about it. And if you are a person that's religious and know a lot about Jesus and or Buddha, I think you'll really enjoy this series. But if you're looking for a slice of life comedy, I would definitely recommend Arakawa Under the Bridge because it's absolutely hilarious, and that is a show that you can literally stay on the floor laughing at because she's amazing at that. So the mangaka I'm a really big fan of. But this was, it was a nice read, and I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I don't think it's an easy read. I wouldn't say it's an easy read.
I think it was pretty.
It was pretty easy.
You just don't like learning.
No, I'm just
genuinely
saying,
that removes it for you. That's the feeling of having to read subtitles.
You know what? I'm gonna say it. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't like learning. If I want to learn, I'll take a class.
And look at you.
yeah. And look at me. You're right. I think if I want to be transported, take me on a journey, and that journey better not be to a classroom.
I do say there is a thing that the jokes should stand on their own, which, there's a lot that don't, because you need to know context, which
Yeah.
isn't like a huge negative, but compared to certain other fictions I have experienced,
Whoa.
you know, a lot of them it's like you can understand the humor through context clues.
Yeah, that's a great
I'm
Yeah.
getting the feel like I don't think that's something you can sort of figure out what they're doing. You have to know they're referencing this, and if you don't, go to the end of the chapter and have this explained, and then you can appreciate the joke. That's the consequence of it being sort of like religious inside jokes,
Mm-hmm.
which that's what it's trying to be, I guess. But yeah, like a more accessible comedy would have the jokes stand on their own, and then you could be like, oh, that's because of blah blah blah.
I think that is a beautiful and perfect way to say it, because you can't through context clues get these jokes most of the time. Sometimes there's a joke where, you know, Jesus is nervously scrunching his shirt together and it spells one long word, but when he scrunches his shirt together it spells a shorter word. But that word is in Japanese, and when you translate it takes, you have to understand what that word means and what that word's character is, you know what I mean? And so like I get the context of the scrunched up shirt meaning something. I don't know exactly what it means, but it's like, and I don't again mean to shit on the series, but so many times during this read I thought to myself, there's the joke.
Yeah.
There's a joke there. There's a joke there.
I just don't know what it is
Yeah.
until the end of the
I
chapter.
get
This-
the formula.
Is genuinely a negative, which is it's very smart.
No, but it is very, very smart.
It's still smart, and the jokes are smart and clever and deep, and it goes into like the entire, you know, it's not just the surface level stuff, it'll go into the stuff that doesn't really get talked about.
Yeah.
Now the problem is a lot of people don't know that stuff.
Yeah.
And if you don't, you know, but if someone does, you can like easily be like, yeah, I get that. Especially for like in America, you just know more about Jesus. Like you can't
Yes.
not know like the basic stuff. So like you can be like, he's bleeding from the thing. I get that. But then when it comes to Buddha, I'm like, he doesn't like mushrooms. What's going on? Oh, that. I like that. I should have studied more about other cultures.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Saint Youngman, I do think after everything that specifically I've said about it, I do want to say as my final thought that I do think it's a great series, and it's a series that I do think you should read, especially if you have any familiarity with Buddhism or Christianity, and even if you don't, you can still enjoy this series. Again, like Megan said, it's not offensive. It is wholesome, and like Cody said, the jokes are smart. But I do think, with all of that aside, you can still enjoy this series. But it does help if you know a little bit about those things.
Yeah, and if you don't, they'll have it explained, and you can it's a different kind of appreciation you can get if you're learning from it,
Yeah.
which is what it also is, and I think it does a good job of like having a fun, warm way of learning about these religions. Now, Megan circled and pointed an arrow at something in her notebook that said "coffee stain story."
Oh, it says coffee stain. Sorry.
Sorry, I
Sorry.
I thought there was going to
I
be
thought you had
Sorry.
Sorry.
a relevant story.
No, I just spelled coffee on the notebook.
I see. Well, that whole build-up in my mind is now gone.
All right.
Well, that's it for
All right. Good.
Saint Youngman. Thank you, Cody, for taking us out with a bang. I really appreciate that. If this is a series that you've already read, let us know what you thought about it in the comments down below. And if it's a series that you haven't read yet and you do decide to read based on our review, let us know what you think. Talk to us about it, because we love having conversations about things we've reviewed, especially if it's something that we don't necessarily think will be for everybody. I think people have so many interesting insights on those types of series, and this is definitely a series that lends itself to a lot of conversation. So jump into our Discord. That's where we'll be most of the time to talk about these sort of things. There should be a link in the bottom of this video to do that. Now we're headed to the Wonder Circle, baby, where we do a little comment reading. The Wonder Circle, of course, is the section of each episode where we take your comments from previous videos, read and respond to them on the podcast. Do you guys have your comments already picked out, and who wants to go first?
I have mine.
Okay, Megan, you go.
This comes from Huang.
Yeah, the names are always hard.
Huong. Huang. I don't know how to pronounce. I'm so sorry. Thu. I don't mind spoiler. I think everyone coming to the podcast with the title Spy X Family on is ready for exposition, which is interesting point because I do hope that we don't spoil too much for you and hope that you wouldn't click the video thinking that we wouldn't talk about the series in whole.
Well, right. I mean, this is actually, I love that
Volume
you picked
one.
this comment. I do love that you picked this comment because it's hard to know where everyone's at. And so what we try to do is talk enough about the series to interest you and then have that spoiler break so that people who've already read the series can have a little bit of a deeper conversation.
Reminisce if you've already read
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and then it's because it's still volume 1, you still like, oh, well, maybe I need to hear more. And I agree with the idea of a spoiler warning, especially for like sort of a jump into a series.
Mm-hmm.
Not that necessary, but it's more for like the 5 people that would want it.
Sure. And we've had people reach out to us who have decided to read a series based on, our review or our discussion.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it is important in those moments to not give a lot away. But I also understand that, I think we struggled a lot early on going through things chronologically as opposed to just having thoughts or expressing our thoughts. And so it's always finding that balance,
Definitely.
Yeah. So what do you think that comment meant? Do you think that comment meant like it's okay to talk about stuff because that's why we're clicking on the video? Or I hope that you don't talk about stuff because
I
they
got
said-
that he expected it. Like I clicked on the video because I wanted to hear you guys
Right.
talk about the series
and-
versus not.
Right.
We're overly cautious about spoilers.
Yeah.
Maybe
Maybe some more than others.
Maybe some more than
Maybe
others.
some like to say it out loud to get that shock value
yeah,
from
maybe
the audience.
some aren't cautious at all and they don't understand review structure.
No. But that's just not, we're not going to name any names.
That's neither here nor there. It's
Somewhere else.
It's somewhere else. I don't like I like if I watch a review, it's usually for something I don't plan on watching myself, or I will watch it after because what I do to find reviewers to get I will click on something that I like, and then something to see like where do our opinions line up, and then I'll click on something I don't like, and then that's how I usually go about finding reviewers.
Yeah.
So I don't even agree of like wanting a spoiler warning that much, but it is for
Yeah.
the few people who would.
It's more of an etiquette thing, I think.
It's just general, and then hey, we get to excuse the fact the viewer duration is like at like 20. Well, they probably all stopped at the spoiler mark.
They went to go read it. They'll be back.
Yeah,
Yeah, they'll come back.
Yeah. They're just taking a long time to read it.
And yeah, we told them to. In fact,
Yeah. In fact, we encouraged it.
yeah, we told them to stop watching the video.
Yeah,
So it's
So it
all
makes sense.
according to plan.
All according to plan. Some people are slow readers.
Yeah, super slow,
Super slow.
but they'll be back.
Yeah.
They're just taking their time.
Great comment. Great comment. Who was the commenter again?
Thu Huang. Say that as I don't have it pulled up again.
I did not. I
Thank
noticed that your
you.
phone.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I noticed your
Thank
phone
you.
was down a little too late.
Thank
But yeah, shout out to them. You said it in the beginning. It's on wax.
Thu Huang. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry, but it was on our Spy X Family, obviously.
Yeah. Well, thank you for the comment. And Cody, what's your comment?
So I'm not going to read all of it, but I like the points that brought up by Shally Jepson.
Okay, you're taking my comment. Okay.
Oh,
This is why we should discuss these.
You're right.
I think most shonen start out as generic because they almost have to if they don't want to get murked early on. You can really start to tell when the mangaka finally gets the freedom to do what they want, which you'll start to see during and after the tournament arc, and it all culminates masterfully in the Shibuya arc.
Shibuya.
Yeah, I like for whatever reason, shonen is a genre where the beginning is seen as like an obligation. I get that's like a part of it, but yeah, that's a nice way of explaining why that is. I just thought that was interesting. And then they talk about Yuji and Juju being strong and how this is who you were telling me about. That makes sense now.
No, yeah.
How it contrasts how he's not strong in the magic world.
Yeah.
Which is fun. It still creates a dissonance with me that this is a me problem. It takes me a while to get over stuff like that.
But it did make me a little more okay with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I really appreciate that comment. And who was it by again? I just want to reiterate.
You like doing that.
Maybe if you pay attention in the beginning,
it's not
Shelly
yeah.
Jepsen. Thank you. I agree with
Didn't
you.
you say
if
you
we're not
picked
clear,
that one
we're
too?
not.
So
I
wouldn't you
did.
remember the name?
Well, no, I have it pulled up because I want to thank.
Hey, how about you read your comment?
How about you put that finger away, partner?
Whoa.
All right. My comment is from Leo Steins. This is from our Kaiju number 8 episode. If you like stories of very endearing middle-aged men who decide to turn their lives around and pursue their childhood dream, I recommend checking out the first volume of Space Brothers. It's about a man who decides to become an astronaut. Kaiju number 8 reminds me a lot of this manga in many good ways.
Oh, cool.
I have, I don't know a whole lot about the series, but I have in my mind seen the cover.
Do they have orange astronaut suits?
I can't. I know it's like I could be confusing it with like a movie where they're like on a farm in spacesuits. And now
Are they called Astro
loud,
Bros?
Space Brothers.
Space Brothers.
And now that I am saying it out loud, it's for sure a movie.
Is it Interstellar?
No, it's not Interstellar.
Wait, Armageddon?
No, not Armageddon. A lot of astronauts on farms. I feel like.
Superman?
I'm gonna be honest. Not what I was thinking.
Yeah, me either.
Not what I was
I'm thinking there's one with like a pug or
he's
something.
In a tux.
Oh, it is a pug. It is that.
Oh wow! No, that looks fucking cool though. The art
It's
style
the pug. I was like,
the art
is there a
style.
pug in there? I know that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a series. I was not
Iron
the
Man?
series I was thinking of. Yeah, if it's about a middle-aged man following his childhood dreams, I'm all in, baby. Space Brothers. If you guys want to see us review that, let us know because it's definitely something I'm going to look into.
You and I both now are being told we're middle-aged, and I think that means
think it's
we're
funny.
being targeted.
I think it's really funny.
Does that count as a death threat?
I mean, because you're saying that we're halfway.
If
there.
we're halfway now.
Yeah, that's a very early death.
Yeah.
Yeah, so someone's going to murder us. Yeah.
Which,
Cody, you have a long, fruitful life ahead of you.
So yeah, that's and every week a new manga.
Okay, Space Brothers sounds super interesting, and I will check it out. Because I'm not gonna listen to Cody. Cody's not gonna do it. He's not gonna make me sad. So thank you, Leo Steins, for your
Thank
comment.
you.
We appreciate it, and that's the Winner Circle.
That's it.
That's it.
I do want to apologize for our. I feel like
Don't
my
apologize.
mind's a little all over the place because of our live show, and I do want to apologize if it's up or if it's not up.
Because you have to understand, if it's not up,
Yeah,
it's meaningless to apologize
you're
for
right,
it, especially opening a video with it.
that's a good point.
So
Yeah.
you're gonna put it up.
So now it has to.
You
be,
has to be. It
now
has to be
come
put up.
out,
Yeah,
'Cause
because
now
then they're
it's
gonna think we're lying. They didn't see it happen.
Well, it was live.
Well, they didn't see it happen though.
Should have been there.
But
Oh yeah, and this is for general comments. I've been seeing the Jujutsu Kaisen comments are a lot more positive than I was expecting.
Agreed.
well, wait a little bit.
Only one thumbs down.
2 now.
2,
There's
but
2
it's,
now.
hey, who's counting?
All right, yeah. Well, there you go. Try to be, yeah. A lot, or not a few, are about how profitable the manga was, and I don't remember that being a topic.
I said in the episode that I think the anime. I don't think that the series would be as popular as it is without the anime adaptation being as good as it is. And I did read a comment saying that it had sold X amount of millions of copies before the anime, but it also I think 8 million, and then after the release of the anime, it sold 30 million. So I guess what I mean by that is I don't think it would be considered one of the GOATs without this anime adaptation. I'm not saying that it wasn't already a very popular series. And I know that there are a lot of people who have a lot of love for that manga and would have, regardless of the anime adaptation.
What's cool is a lot of them, though, were like, yeah, it's not the best beginning.
Absolutely, which I was a little,
nervous
nervous about.
I was expecting a lot of, like, you don't understand how anything works. And I'm like, I understand some things.
Yeah, I was afraid that there was going to be a lot of people just saying like, you guys don't get it. And I hope it comes across that we all really, really tried to get it. And I think knowing that everybody else kind of agrees about it, the way it starts, it makes me feel a lot better about it. And it makes me feel a lot better about the series in general. And thank you for being kind about it too. And just like, you know, even the few people who didn't really agree, most of them again were pretty nice, pretty cool, pretty chill.
Yeah. And apparently some of them were just correcting you.
Sure, they were very Buddha about it. It's tight. Let's bring it all back. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for listening. That's gonna do it for another volume one of Saint Young Men. Shout out to all our Patreon members. Thank you guys so much. We love you. We appreciate you. You guys are the fucking best.
Yeah.
And if you're not a Patreon member, you can become one. All you got to do is go to patreon.com/volume1pod. A lot of tiers, a lot of benefits.
A lot of tears to be shed.
A lot of tears.
Tears. Not tears to be.
A lot of tears to be had.
Tears of
Joy.
happiness.
Tears of joy.
Yeah.
Tears of joy. Tears of happiness. Tears of happiness. And I'm gonna give it away. I'm gonna give away what we're doing. Give it away now. What we're doing this next upcoming week. We're gonna be doing another volume done. And if you don't know what volume dones are, it's where we do a full series review. And this series review, this volume done, will be on Hell's Paradise. Hell's Paradise. We're doing a volume done on. So if you haven't seen the volume 1 yet, you can go check that episode out, because on Saturday as a bonus episode will be our part 2 for that series. And if there's any other series that you want to see us do a volume done on, Jujutsu Kaisen, Pun, anything, let us know in the comments down below. That's it. That's a wrap. That's a wrap. Only one thing left to do, and that is to get out of here on our outro that's always the same and never, ever changes, which today is God bless you. God bless.
Now here's something.
I don't want to exclude
either God bless or God be with you, because that's where the phrase goodbye comes from.
You know what's kind of crazy too? This is like at the very end of the episode, but they kind of there's a translation note for amen, the word amen in here, and it never really occurred to me that amen, like, you know you say things so many times they just become a word
that
or
just means something. Yeah,
but then they kind of like it means like, and that's the truth or something like that, and that's
which
just
makes sense.
I mean, it does make sense, but it's also a little weird that I never thought of that. I don't know.
Is that like Hebrew?
Man.
It's rain and holy men.
2 hot gods.
That was the weakest one.
You're right. I'll admit to it.
Hallelujah! It's raining holy men. It's raining yep.
Until next time. Till next time.
I think, you know what, Megan?
Your favorite Trinity.
Wow. You know what, Megan? We never do Cody's. I realize that. You know, because you always have the bangers.
Yeah, I know. I don't have a good one.
And then you usually don't, but you
I
sort of hide behind criticizing mine.
Yeah, and I just hijack it, and I just say like, oh, we should definitely do that.
My opinion is we should do Megan. Therefore, you agree with my opinion.
So what's yours?
Right. It's raining holy men.
Okay.
Hallelujah.
And look, it's not great.
No.
But,
it's good. It's good. It's
well,
good.
Josh, what was your idea again?
It's good.
2 hot gods.
No,
See?
that one's better.
Right. Okay, we'll do it's raining holy men. Right?
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So until next time,
it's raining holy men.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.